So we're going to add a little bit of this yellow. Just dip it into here. Dip it in just a little bit. And we're just going to put some, this is kind of a trademark move of mine, to have some of these coming down. And see how that just brings it in. Now this is kind of transparent, as I knew it would be. So I'm going to add some more opaque yellow. This is Folk Art Lemon Custard. This one, we'll see how this one works. Let's just bring some down here. That's good, I like that. And because I always like copying myself, we're going to do a few over here. Now that's already yellow, so maybe we will switch to a brown. This just gives you an idea. You don't have to do all of this exactly how I do it, and it'll be kind of hard to do it exactly how I do it. This just kind of shows you my process, and you know, you can kind of figure out, really, I just kind of do whatever I feel like at the time. So here's my brown paint. Just dip a little bit in there. You don't want to get too much. And we're just gonna just do a little one going up here. And this will, a lot of you may wonder, well, that was such a nice yellow color down there. Like, why would you want to cover that up with the dark brown? But that's exactly why we want to do it, because when you put some contrast in there, it really brings attention, and it's like, oh, it makes the yellow color even more noticeable, because you put that's an area of high contrast. Same as this. Not quite as much of a contrast there, but, you know, a little bit. So you can see what I was talking about. This is transparent yellow, but this is more opaque. So you can see the difference in what I was talking about. That kind of gives you an idea. And I really want to actually fix that. I want that opaque there. So I'm just going to go over it. There we go. And this is just a hang up I have. It's also kind of a good rule. See how there's two lines there? That drives me nuts. I don't like having an even number of lines. Seriously, I can't even stand it right now. So I'm going to add another third line there. It's kind of a design thing. It is a design thing. A lot of people would kind of probably sympathize with my craziness about that, but we're just going to add, I'm just going to add a tiny little bit in the bottom here with my brown. Where is my brown? And we're just going to put this honeycomb pattern in here just a little bit. You don't want to go crazy with any of these elements, because the whole idea is to make it subtle. If it was everywhere, it would look ridiculous, right? So you want to just, and especially this kind of like mixed media stuff, you can do so much that it can get looking really, really busy. And you don't want to do that, because it wrecks the whole look of it. A lot of people do mixed media. Mixed media is such a popular thing right now, and I'm not the only person that's doing this. Just, you know, I'm gonna put that out there. Obviously, I am aware of that. I'm not the only person, but I do try to have my own style, and I think I do. Especially my figures, I try to have them more representational, which means more realistic, like the proportions are more realistic. And a lot of people do them more folksy, and that looks really good. And I definitely, my figures do look like folk art for sure. But, you know, some people do the really elongated necks and the faces that are a little bit, they are more flat looking, and it looks really good, and they do that on purpose, and I love a lot of them. For me, I try to do a little bit more representational, realistic looking. Okay, so one more thing here. I think we're going to put the branch going up here rather than this side, but I also really like that. So we want to try to keep that. We don't want to be obsessed about it, but we want to try to keep that in there. So what we want to do, I'm going to show you this. We're going to use this brown here. We want to have a lot of water on here. This is a painting lesson right now that you've got here. I'm just going to spritz that with water because this kind of brush is not going to, it's not going to make it mix up very good, and you need a lot of water. So let's just spritz that a little bit, and we'll just want to get it really, really super watery. Because you want a lot of it to be on the brush, because you want it to take you all the way through the branch. So we're just going to start here, and we're just going to do some brushes. You want to hold this back, and I do this at the easel a lot, so I'm used to doing it at the easel a lot, so we'll see how it does when I'm doing this flat, because usually I do this in my fine art paintings. So let's just try this. We're going to go from here, we're just going to go, and we want to do some little quirks and go off of there. Forever, so I'm gonna stop before it gets to be too crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna dry that really, really quick. Just give it a shot here. So we're gonna start with a dark first, this, and we're just going to kind of, I'll try not to get in the shot too much, and you're just going to, you don't want to think too much about this because it will look planned out if you plan it out. You just want to really just kind of do it going by your intuition. I don't want to mix this too much because we don't want this to turn into blue. So, and we don't want too much. We just want some little touches. That yellow is really nice over there. I really like that. How else do you want to do it? I want to add some grass down here and over on this corner. So I'm going to use this brush again. And I'm going to take my green, and I'm going to make it nice and watery as we do with this brush. Oh, you know what? I don't think this green is going to work. Okay, so we've got a nice green there. So let's just, we're going to do some little swirls, and we're going to add some other colors, and let's bring some bigger ones up there. This is a little bit, add some brown in there. So I'm just mixing right. I didn't even wash my brush out, just mixing that because it all adds to it. And I need to do some more down here because we want this to be like, this is the ground, right? We could have done this as the ground, but we didn't. So this is the ground. And just because we want to, let's do a little bit of yellow in there. I really want some tall pieces in there. How do we do that? Well, we're gonna add some yellow. That's how we do that. Here. We've got a greeny yellow here going on, which is fine, actually. It's all good. Go that way, go this way. So do you see how I'm doing this? I'm just doing little wisps. And going this way, going that way. This is a little too green over here, I don't like that. I'm gonna add some brown in there just to soften that green. Let's bring this out. Okay, so before we do too much, I like that. I want to add a little bit of a swirly thing going on. Like a little bit of a flourish. I could use a stamp or a stencil for this, but we're going to try painting it. So we've got a tree here. Let's go across here and just do this. This is going to be hard because this is not, I'm going to turn it like this so I've got a better grip on it. Is this focusing? So let's just go in. And then we'll go on from here. Do some more. Could come down. I'm going to do a couple coming down here like this. I'm just kind of picturing it in my head before I actually do it. Yeah, that's good. And you just get used to holding the brush the way you want to hold the brush. Like, there we go. So there we go. So that actually leaves a nice area to put something. You could put a girl there, or you could put a quote there. You've got the branch here, you've got this here, and it just kind of, you know, frames it nicely. If you wanted to, you could take some more colors in here, because that is where we would have our, probably our main focus. Whatever you want to put there, we'll just leave that, because if it's too busy behind there, then it'll take away from whatever you're trying to make your main focus. So let's just look at this close up a little bit. See, look at that really cool texture. It almost looks like that's raised, and it's not. It's completely flat. But because of how we did it with the saran wrap, it looks like so cool. And this splatter is, if you'll remember, it's from that stencil I did here. And then I turned it over, because I put the stencil down, sprayed it, but then I had the stuff that was left over, and I turned it around and just put it here. And that's what happened. And then that's where we painted. And see, you can see that subtle stuff in the background. Isn't that cool? Love it. There you go.